Hello?
Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our March 2023 T.H.E.S.I meeting. For those who this is their first time attending, welcome. And to those who weren't able to attend our first session, welcome back. Give you a little bit of background on our thesis. Thesis stands for Trenton Health Education, Safety, and Information Sessions. This is something that has been brought together from Trenton Community Street Teams. Trenton Community Street Teams is an initiative that's focused on violence reduction, violence interruption from a community-based standpoint. Our goal is to empower residents in the city of Trenton, but also respond to violence from a community point of view, making sure that we're engaging the community and also educating the community as well. Last month, we focused on different service providers, talking about services that a lot of Trentonians might not know are available. This session we will focus on more so of a community approach and also community engagement and also representation from the community about some of the issues that we found and that they brought forth and made us aware of. And so before you right now, you see our agenda, which will start off with welcoming parts, which I'm doing right now. We'll have a police report out and we'll talk about the community walk there. For our community walk, we walk in 2 different neighborhoods. We walk in Trenton South Ward Neighborhood Association, and we also walk around Valley Homes and Valley Homes surrounding area. We will also hear from our councilwoman, Jennifer Kettenberg, which is the South Ward, and we'll also have a special presentation in Valley Industry, and then we'll close out. Throughout the process, if anyone has a question, please put it in the chat. We will make sure that we get a response to your question. We want everyone to be able to be engaged, be involved, but also give their input. So with that being said, we're going to move on the report. We're going to hear from our Director Wilson. We want to make sure that he's able to connect his audio. We're going to check back and see if he's available to speak right now. Y'all see him anywhere? Director Wilson? Director Wilson, are you able to hear me? So since we have some technical issues on Director Wilson's side, we're just going to move forward with our community walk presentation. You'll be hearing from T.H.E.S.I.S from TCNJ to give a little overview about a community walk that took place a few weeks back. So with that said, I'll pass it over to T.H.E.S.I.S.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natasha Shabazz. I'm at the College of New Jersey Center for Community Engagement. So as Perry just mentioned, we had 2 sections that we specifically went to. We were scheduled to go to Donnelly Homes first, February 21st, which we did, and we had some bad weather, but we were able to engage with a few folks. But you'll see that we have 3 dates listed, but really it's two specific walks. So for South Trenton, we were there on February 23rd. We engaged with 26 community members. Here listed, you'll just see some issue areas. Really for the purpose of summarizing, you can see that, there's a lot of conversations around more recreation for youth, more policing specifically in this area for immigrants. The term walking ATMs were used during some of those conversations. And so just kind of feeling more as targeted individuals in certain areas of South Trenton. We also talked with individuals that spoke on abandoned homes being auctioned instead of being bought by community members. There were a couple of passionate community members that mentioned that they remembered where there was a time where they can actually afford to buy out, abandoned properties and then be able to flip them. And currently that's not necessarily the system. For South Trenton, we also talked to a group of individuals on the block that had mentioned that they would like to host a movie night where there's currently an abandoned kind of home area where a home was actually removed. And so it looks like a little bit of a mini lot. But the community there was happy to kind of talk and collaborate on a potential movie night in that area. And then over to Donnelly Homes, as I mentioned, there were 2 dates that we went to Donnelly Homes, the 21st and 24th. As well as an increase of engagement with community members. So the issue for Donnelly Homes, we talked about more retention services, financial literacy workshops, specifically credit counseling. There was a lot of security, who they were, who they not work, were they there
There's a lot of feedback going on. Can't hear you.
Somebody got to mute their phone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very good. All right, sorry about that. So as I was mentioning for Donley Homes, specifically talked a lot about financial literacy workshops, some more focus on credit counseling. We talked a lot about security cameras, do they work, some areas for improvement around security cameras in general and security in that neighborhood, in that area. More free or low cost tutoring for youth, more music and art programs, loitering issues, and then discussions around opening a studio for youth to have an outlet as well. So the next slide, I'm just gonna give an overview on numbers so far, where we are. So currently, this is just kind of the numbers based on the 4 total community walks. We've engaged with approximately 122 individuals specifically for this community walk. I just wanna really mention that the street team does a lot of work in different capacities, but these numbers only reflect those community walks. You'll see that there's interviews versus other engagement. The issue areas that I had noted before, those are really those interviews that we really are engaging with individuals. We're hearing their concerns, we're being connectors, and we're trying to close that feedback loop as well. So you'll notice that when you see those numbers, interviews versus other engagement is still just as appropriate. It's just that we're not getting to the level of depth in those issue areas. If you go to the next slide. This last slide is really just, we were talking through what does this look like? What is this data going to be used for in terms of, we're talking to individuals, we have high level of community engagement with the street team. We wanted to also connect and collaborate more with the city's department and ensure that these issue areas are not necessarily just being talked about and left as is. So you'll see this is a breakdown of just numbers so far. With the individuals that we have engaged with, you'll see that 36% of individuals are really talking a lot about recreation. Again, this is the title based on city departments in the city of Trenton. So when we look at 36%, it's really talking about youth programming. That's been a highlight of a lot of those conversations. If we look over here in the green, we'll see 19% for public works. Now, public works, obviously, if we remember within city departments, public works has the division of traffic and transportation. So a lot of the conversations around traffic and loitering issues might fall under public works. Then we also have 8% in housing and economic development, abandoned properties being of concern. 3% health and human services. So far, 3% of folks are really talking about mental health and substance use when we're thinking of health and human services. 19% have been discussing police, whether that's actual community policing or wanting more security. I just mentioned before, South Trenton, specifically when speaking with immigrants or bilingual individuals, feeling like they're targeted in certain areas. And then 14% will see other. Now, the other really represents a category that wouldn't necessarily fit in the city department. I'll just give a quick example. Other really has been the basis of education and their school districts. So as we continue to do these walks, we just want to make sure that we're able to kind of see what are Trentonians really giving feedback about, and how do we connect these issue areas with city departments to make sure that we're closing back that loop. So we'll continue to work off of these numbers and give these updates, but we just wanted to give folks an idea of, so far, this is what it looks like based on the 4 community walks that have been done. And this doesn't include, of course, other data from other areas of work that the street team is doing, for example, like the hubs. So we'll keep you posted, but every month we hope to give you an update on some of this data as well.
Thank you so very much, Sasha, for that in-depth analysis about our community walks that took place not only the month of February, but also the month of January. It's important that we continue to engage with the community and get their perspective about some of the issues that they're facing. But at the same time, also notate and also share some of the wins, the great things that are going on in the city of Trenton as well. With that said, I'd like that to segue to us having representation and also having engagement from someone who walked with us, who represents the South Ward Neighborhood Association. If Mr. Tyrell Smith is on, Mr. Smith, if you can give a synopsis of not only the community walk, but let the community know about some of the great things that are going on in the city of Trenton South Ward.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Perry, for inviting me this morning. Thank you for the street team. Sorry that I'm not on camera because I'm in transition. I just came from class. So I'm going to pull over and get in the parking lot so I can actually talk. But thank you. My name is Tyrell Smith. I'm the board chair of the Trenton South Ward Neighborhood Association. Our mission is to be the liaison for the all 9 districts of the South Ward. Our mission is also to enhance the quality of life for all 9 districts down in the South Ward. So I thank you guys for the data and the numbers that you guys presented today, this morning, in regards to what was going on your street walking. Is I see that a majority of the people that you guys talked to was concerned about recreation and for the culture. So some of the great things that are happening down in the South Ward when it comes to outdoor space and comes to recreation. Over the past summer, we were able to get our parks fixed down in the South Ward. And the unique thing about the South Ward is that down in District 2 and North Ward District 9, half of it is the South Ward and half of it is in the North Ward. So it's a really delicate situation down there where it's really lacking the resources and the funding that is needed to prevent some of the things that's going on in the city. But gratefully, over this past summer, we were able to have 2 of our parks that was positioned in the North Ward and in the South Ward to be on the list to be redone and redeveloped. So for the past, I want to say 30 years plus, 20 years plus, the courts in Cooper Field has been abandoned, it's been overgrown, and it has been decayed. It has been abandoned for years down there in the South Ward. But over this recent summer, we were able to the city, with the thanks to the city and the recreation department, we was able to redecorate that park. We were able to repave that park. We were able to have new courts and everything put up down there at the park, and we were able to host basketball games throughout the summer. Another plus and another win for our community down in the South Ward and the North Ward District 9 was we was able to have our community gardening. And our community garden down in the South Ward, we went through the city Adopt a Lot program. So we like to thank the city for their Adopt a Lot program that they have. And our community organization was able to petition the city to get these lots and turn these abandoned lots into a beauty area where people can congregate and also to transform the beauty of our community. And what's so special about this community gardening is that the Trenton Kids Count came out with a food disparity chart where it placed Trenton at number 1 with the highest being 100. And right in District 2 and District 2 of the South Ward and in North Ward District 9, we sit right there in some of the highest food disparities areas. So the community garden is serving for a base to directly combat the food disparity that's going on in that area that's been neglected for years. So we know that violence is just a symptom of the other disparities that's going on. So when you don't have proper food, and you don't have a proper recreation, and when you don't have all these things that cause you to have a positive outlook or a positive outlet, then we see that people take on, to the streets. We see that they involve themselves in gangs and violence and that nature. So down there in the South Ward District 2 and North Ward District 9, the Trenton South Ward Neighborhood Association, our main goal is to create initiatives and to create avenues where we be able to engage the community and get the community involved in what's going on down there and become advocates for our community, because so so many residents down there in the South Ward are behind the 8 ball when it comes to the things that are changing. A lot of them don't even know that it changed from the South Ward to the North Ward. So that's what we're here for. We're here to be advocates for them and be able to bring the necessary resources. So when we was able to connect with you guys and do this street walk, it was almost like it was a blessing. So we'd be able to let people know down there in the South Ward in North Ward District 9 that their voices has not been neglected and their voices are going to be heard. And we're going to try to get some of the issues solved down there that's been running rapid for the past 20 to 30 years down in the South Ward. Hello? I know I didn't say it a whole lot, but yeah, I'm very passionate with what's going on down there in the South Ward, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out and walking the streets with us. There's a lot of great things going on down there. A lot of redevelopment is going on down in the South Ward and North Ward District 9. We cater to all the districts, but as of right now, our focus point is District 2 and North Ward District 9.
Once again, thank you so very much, Tyrell. Just want to let you know that it was an honor to walk with you and the rest of the team, and also had a chance to engage and walk with the Southport Councilwoman as well. With these walks, this is not a one and done. This is a pattern that we're going to continue to do with the community. We're going to be walking in all wards, but at the same time, we're not just going to walk in the wards and collect data. We're going to go back and have solutions to some of the questions.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Tyra.
No, I was going to say I appreciate that because when the two street teams were formed, in the beginning, we was like, what about the South Ward? What about the South Ward? But you and your street team has been dedicated to reaching out to all districts and dedicated to, letting your presence be known about the things that you guys going on. So I just appreciate you guys coming to the South Ward and walking through the South Ward and also North Ward District 9.
Thank you. Thank you. This is truly a collaborative effort. The only way that we can work with the community, the fact that we're part of the community, we got to continue to make sure that it's not, once again, about having a seat at the table. It's about us learning how to set our own table, because this is our table. This is our community. We have to be engaged, we have to be involved, and we have to be consistent. But more importantly, we have to be accountable. That we're not doing the things that need to be done, we have to be accountable. If there's things that we need to bring to the table, we got to bring it to the table. So thank you for being a part of this process. You have been there from the beginning process when we just had a few team members, and you engaged with us, and you have continued to do so. So we appreciate that. With that being said, thank you. With that being said, we did have a representative from Donnelly who's supposed to be speaking this morning. Unfortunately, had an emergency, but I really wanted to try and double back, hopefully, and really get some words from our Director Wilson. I know we were having some technical issues a little while ago. If he's
I'm here.
We would love to hear from him.
Okay, I'm here. If the host can enable my video, I'm only on audio at the moment. And Mr. Smith, before I start, if you could contact Detective Pena, and I'm typing in the chat bar her email address. She is the South Ward Community Affairs Detective.
Try your video again, Director. See if it pops up now.
Everybody see me?
There you go.
There I am. Okay. So let me finish typing this real quick. Okay, so one thing everybody has to know is right off the bat, street teams has been greatly successful. I only hear good, positive things about street teams. At the T.C.S.T meeting the other day, Jason was speaking. I know they were doing a lot, but wow, I couldn't imagine all the things that they're doing, and it was just it kind of blew me away, because I know they're out there working, but just to hear everything that they're involved in is just incredible. So let me just put that out there first of all. Now, as it relates to crime, I can tell you that the street teams has had significant impact on the issues in our school, in and around our schools. We do have less calls for service in that regard. Um, a concern of mine, we so far we had a mild winter, and that's great. Everybody's not snowbound and this and that. But normally, when we have mild winters and you equate the good weather with there's increased activity in the city, and a lot of it's good, but some of it's bad, as you all know. Um, but right now, in this moment in time, even with our mild weather, we are enjoying a significant decrease um, in violent crimes. And I don't like to put that out there, except every so often, because as soon as I say that, then something will happen and it makes that look bad. But um, and have we had some violence? Yes, because there are people who are dedicated to that in our city. But I will tell you that right now it's at a level that is lower than normally recorded in our history here in the Trenton Police Department. Um, and I think that that is because of the community outreach going on. And it's more than just getting folks the help that they need or the services that they need. What the street teams is doing that I see is having the community engage more in its own public safety. Um, we get more help from our citizens than we have before. And I think I credit that a lot to our street teams. I credit it to our officers who are more engaged. I credit that to our community affairs unit who is certainly engaged, um, and that's the message that I want to bring, and that's being brought by all of these all of us working together, and it's a winning combination. Um, and I think we're seeing the impact on our crime at the moment. And knock on wood, that maintains. Um, we're not at the end. This will be an ongoing um, battle for us, and battle for just a lack of a better word, a term. But we will always press forward to make the city safer, and this is how we do it by all these programs here. And I couldn't appreciate it more as far as in the South Ward. And I know I heard some conversation about our immigrants uh, um, and trust me when I say that the police department is aware that oftentimes some of our South Ward population, but it's everywhere is where we have um, uh, and trying to be politically correct here, but when we have immigrant citizens here, um, they're often taken advantage of, and sometimes they become victims of robbery. Um, but there's issues within the culture that contribute to that. I'm not victim blaming by any means. I don't want anyone to ever think that that's the case. But sometimes our folks that are from other regions are mistrusting of government and the police because where they're from, those police may be corrupt, and it's just something that is an opinion. So we work hard at gaining those trust factors back. A lot of these crimes go unreported because of the language barrier. Um, and what we need to get out to the community is like we have our police department is 35% Hispanic, and it's never been that way before, but it increases every year. Um, our police department is 55% minority. Um, that has never been before. As time goes on, um, that will increase as well. When I was a young officer on the job, it wasn't that way. It was quite the reverse. It was 86% Caucasian, and that's just not the case anymore. Um, so if anybody's putting anything other than that out there, it's just not true. So um, our police department is becoming reflective of the community. And that will continue. And just, but rest assured that we treat every victim as important, um, and we will continue to do so. I won't have it any other way here. Um, we need to get out the message more. Many of you know Lieutenant Rios. She's working on a public safety flyer that we're going to distribute to our Hispanic population on things to do and not do to help, um, to get the message out there about how they can help protect themselves. And when I say protect themselves, that means to um, harden themselves against crime. Don't be out late at night. And unfortunately, we have a lot of these folks that get robbed are coming from the bars and they're not sober, and they're taken advantage of and they become victims. And that's just a fact. That's nothing more than just a fact. So we have to curb that. We have to get the message out to our licensed premises to be sure that they don't serve people to the point of intoxication. Or, and if someone's, maybe they can take care of their customers and get an Uber so they're not walking home at 2 o'clock in the morning with a pocket full of money. And it's a shame that and someone mentioned that walking ATMs. That's a term that they use on the street, and so we have to get them to talk to them about having a bank account and doing all those things that they need to do, so they don't have to carry around all this cash all the time. Because there are folks out there with evil intentions that know this, and that's when they get taken advantage of and they get robbed and they get hurt and everything like that. But I do have my patrol and my special operations units are aware of that issue, and we try and curb that issue as best as possible. We will continue to do so. But one of the things that we have to do is get that message out there. Um, um, Better. We can always do better. Um, and I say that because we do our best, but we can always do better if everybody understands what I mean by that. So, but in a nutshell, and I won't take up any more of anyone else's time, um, this street teams thing is incredible. Perry, thank you. Jason, thank you. All you guys, it's amazing. Um, Coupled with the other street team from Salvation and Social Justice. I know Jason talked about it would be great to have one in each ward. You know what? Maybe we can work towards that. I'm trying to get Lieutenant Durlacher on write some more grants to get some more teams in here. Maybe we could do something like that. Um, but man, is it having an impact, and it's a positive impact, and that's all I hear. And so hats off to you, um, gentlemen and ladies that are involved in all this, all the supporters. Thank you very much. Um, and I'm glad to be a part of this team. Thank you.
Director Wilson, thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chime in today. I want to say thank you for your partnership as well. When it comes to this work, this is public safety. We're one of the tools in the public safety toolbox. I want to say thank you to Salvation Social Justice for partnering with us on numerous projects and also with the community. As the director said, it would be great if we did have report. And the reason why that's great and important is because our city deserves it. We're a great city. We deserve to have street teams in every single ward. We deserve to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 street teams because we deserve it. We deserve to make sure our community is safe. We need to have our community engaged and involved at any given aspect of it. And so once again, thank you, Director, for your transparency. We look forward to continuing working with you. There's no such thing as a perfect police department. There's no such thing as a perfect community, but together if we collaborate, we can get things moving in the right direction. With that said, I want to move through our agenda and focus on Trenton youth activities and report out. To the gentleman to my left, I'll let him introduce himself and also talk about some of the things in reporting out.
All right, how you guys doing today? My name is Mohammed Doorley. I'm an outreach worker here at Trenton Street Team. And I'm just here to tell you about all the things that's going on in Trenton. What's going on, there's a whole lot. And honestly, it's a lot to keep up with. because there's a whole lot of things going on. So I'm going to now share my screen and show you guys some things.
I can hear.
So,
Talk up. I can't hear you.
for those who didn't hear me, I said I'm going to report out all the different things going on in Trenton for the youth. Contrary to the notion that there's not much going on, there's actually a lot, and it's actually hard to keep up with. And a lot of opportunities that we can share to each other. So this right here is a scholarship specifically for HBCU students. ETS, which is Educational Testing Services, they are giving out a scholarship for the 2023 and 2024 academic year. Now, this is very important for us to get this information out to others. We have another program called Upward Bound, which is a college prep program. And I actually have a few friends who went through this program, and both of them are college graduates. So this is another important program to spread that information out to. The Ivy League Educational Foundation is giving out 2023 scholarships and book awards for any high school seniors graduating. Screenshot this and send it out, and you definitely have this opportunity. Mercer Community College is doing an adult transition grant for ages 18 to 24. This is being located at the Mercer County James Kearney campus. And overall, this will be providing opportunities for young adults with developmental disabilities in order to gain academic and career-related experiences. There's an Easter egg hunt going on April 8th, 1 to 4. This will be on Academy Street. Here's another culture, college and career prep enrichment program. This will be going on Monday to Fridays, 2 to 5 p.m. at Trenton 9th Grade Academy, grades 9 and 12. Here we have a public safety academy going on at the fire headquarters, 244 Perry Street. Gear Up is hiring now. They're looking for anyone with a high school diploma enrolled in higher education with 30 credits, at least 30 credits. If you're bilingual, it's a plus. It's another college program that's designed to encourage 7 to 12 grade students to improve their performance through school and attend college. The Trenton Alumni Chapter of Kappa Fraternity. The Trenton Kappa Foundation is also giving out scholarships for Mercer County High School senior African American and Latino students. The deadline is May 5th. Wait, no, there's two different scholarships. There's one that's the deadline on May 5th, and one is the deadline on March 31st. Still Here Foundation is currently running a enrichment tour. It actually started yesterday, but it's not too late to sign up. They're looking for 11 to 15 year olds. It's a free 6 weeks, 6 weeks of fun, learning, mentorship, and giveaways. I've actually seen this program run. It's a very dope program to have the kids in.
Did you say free? Free?
Free.
Free?
Can't make it up. Here's another free after-school program, Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m., ages 6 to 12. This is going to be run by the city. Residents only, actually. Residents only. And here is the Trenton Thunder. They're looking for teens who need employment to be a cashier, you only have to be 14 years or older. Bartenders 18, cook 16, dishwasher 14. To learn more at Trenton.MLBDraftLeague.com. There's a math and homework program going on. Saturdays, 11 to 1 p.m. Grades 1st to 8th. You know, anyone that needs help, math gives a lot of people problems. Bring them down to 120 Academy Street. And one of my favorites, the Martin House, is running their basketball league. It's the $75 registration fee. The deadline is Saturday, I believe, to sign up. Trenton Community Street Teams is actually sponsoring a team that I will be coaching, so that's some more good news. And beginning this month, our initiative with the library will be beginning on every second, third, and fourth Monday. Those will be our satellite hours. We also will be providing team table talks every last Saturday and community coffee table conversations every third Wednesday. So this will be several different events going on with partnership at the Trenton Library. They will be ran by Dr. Corey Ingram. So that's something to look forward to. It's coming up. And
before we transition it off and give the floor to HRI Jason Rogers, I just want to say, first and foremost, if you have not done so, please put any questions you may have, and also please put your email address in the chat. We will also make sure that we share the flyers with our great friend, Ray Ingram, so that way all these flyers can be shared and put out there in the community. The only way that we're going to stay educated as a community if we share communications. So this is important. I want to also acknowledge the fact of why we have this young man speaking. A lot of times when we do this work in the community, we say that we want to be of service to the community. We want to be of service to young people or younger adults, but we don't have them as part of the process. We made a great effort to make sure that at least 25% of our team here, Trenton Community Street Teams, is under the age of 30. Because a lot of times when it comes to this work and we're trying to reduce violence in our city, it's affected by those who are between the ages of 15 and 35 years of age. But a lot of times you don't see them at the table. You don't see them giving input. You don't see them being able to be a part of solutions to the problems that we're facing. And so this is the reason why it's important to have people like Mama Lou, like Adante, and like others on our team who really, really educate us about what's going on. And it's important for us to sit back and listen rather than try to tell them how to solve it.
Echo.
Okay. So with that being said, I'll let Mama Lou transition the floor to HRI, Mr. Jason Rogers.
All right. Our last event presented, our chairman, the chairman of the event, who's also works with Trenton Community Street Teams, Mr. Jason Rogers. He's presenting the fact that Father and Men United for a Better Trenton will be doing their annual father-daughter dance, and it's a talent show.
Wow. So, HRI Rogers, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, young people.
Good morning.
It's always good to be on this round table and to talk about the good work that's going out in the city and learning more and more about the partnerships and the collaborations. This is more just a thank you because we have no more slots. We are full at 120 gentlemen has signed up for the father-daughter dance. Most of them have already been in the past and is coming back. This is the first year that we are implementing the father-daughter talent show. We actually had 22 people signed up for the talent show. So it's going to be a very busy next 2 weeks. You do not want to miss this event next year. This event is annually. It's always in the month of March. I have to give a shout out to my committee, Stacy Hedden, young man from Owls, Councilwoman Jossie Edwards, Nate Jackson, senior member of Fathers and Men United for a Better Trenton, the Wanda Sykes from the city of Trenton, and Janet Mayfield from Delta Sorority, and Carter Patterson from New Jersey Father Center. We all come together every year to try to make sure that not only do these daughters who deserve their father and love their father, that not only during that night do they get a free meal and if they need a free suit or a free dress, but the education and the motivation to spend more time in their kids' life. We always talk about how important it is and it start at home. And as my pastor would say, a man's supposed to be the head of the household, the protector, the provider, and the lover. So we just encourage men on that night to be just that, and an educator, because we have to educate our youth inside and out of the school. So this event is very close to my heart. And, I pour a lot into it during this time of the year. And with the backing of our partners, Mercer County Prosecutor Office, Big Easy Restaurant, Trenton Community Street Team, Al's Youth Bill, and the Deltas, we are ready to go. It is a go as of next Friday. I would like to thank my management team from Trenton Community Street Team for whenever I needed a helping hand with this event, they stepped right up. And we're ready to go. And we just thank you, and we thank God for this event, and we thank God for you giving me this time, and just continue to pray for me as I pray for all y'all. I think you're still muted.
Thank you so very much, HRI Rogers, Chairman Rogers, Deacon Rogers, Hogue Rogers. Thank you, all the above. We really appreciate everything that you do for the community. Before I make the next transition for our next speaker, I just want to reiterate a couple of things about why information is important. One of the goals that we have in Trenton Community Street Teams is to be the bridge between the community, to be information connectors. A lot of times people in our city have misconception that there isn't a lot going on in our community, that there isn't a lot going on within the city. The issue that we're finding over and over again is that communication is the issue, the lack thereof, should I say. And it's about people knowing where to get the information to be able to attend events. And so that's one of our missions, one of our goals, is to make sure people are informed of what's going on and where to get the information. That's why when we're out there doing our community walks, we're passing out flyers, we're engaging, we're asking the questions about where the issues are, what's going on. And we also understand some of the things that the director really touched upon about our immigrant community, specifically our Latino community, that are victims of violence at a high rate, but is not reported because they don't know what may be the result once they report the crime. They don't understand the fact that because you're reporting a crime, whether you're documented or undocumented, the fact is you still can receive services. And while we're out in the community, we let people know Trenton Community Street Teams is for everyone in the city of Trenton, no matter race, creed, color, sexual orientation. If you need the services, we will provide those services. It's not about being discriminatory, it's about opening up to everyone. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Everyone needs to be treated with the fact that they are a human being. And that's what we do. We provide services to every single person who needs it. In addition, we will be sharing all the information about what's going on in the community on our social media handles, whether that's Instagram, whether that's our Twitter, whether it's our Facebook, or on our website. We want to make sure that we're sharing all of the things that's going on in our community. And with that being said, I would like to segue and pass the microphone over to our South Ward Councilwoman, Ms. Jenna Figueroa Kettenberg.
Okay. Hi, guys. Wait, let me turn my camera on 1 second. can. Hold on, I'm trying.
Not a
All
problem.
right, here we go. There we go. Okay. Hi guys. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Perry, I just want to say that everything that you're doing, this whole initiative, I think it's wonderful. I'm glad you just said what you said, because I was going to just suggest that we have more bilingual people on the Trenton Street team, especially when we're going out in the communities. I want to piggyback off of what our police director said with regards to the immigrant communities being walking ATMs and not trusting the police because they come from places where the police are corrupt. But it's not just that the police are corrupt where they're coming from. The governments are corrupt, and when they come here, they don't really feel safe, and they don't feel safe enough to leave paper trails for themselves, i.e. bank accounts and stuff like that, because they just don't know what the repercussions are, or they're not educated enough. And, it's sad that we don't have enough Spanish speaking people to be able to communicate with them and to educate them of the resources and the safe measures that we have in place here in Trenton, being a sanctuary city. So I want to thank you for saying what you said. You guys are definitely doing a great thing. We need that communication line to be more black and white when it comes to the Latino community, so that we can bridge the gap with them when it comes to them being a part of everything. And then and I worked with many other people when we were doing the census count, because it was very important to make sure that we counted everybody in the city of Trenton, so that we're able to get the resources that we need in the city, and i.e. for our schools and after school programs, what have you. And a lot of people don't understand the importance of the census count to that effect. And we worked diligently to get the Latino community counted, so that we were getting what we needed from state and federal governments. I love the idea of the street team, and I want to continue to work with you and everybody involved, and not just in the South Ward, but for the entire city of Trenton. I think that it's very important that, this line of communication is available to folks. Oftentimes people don't know what's going on. They may not be on social media. They don't even have internet access in their homes. And that's a big problem for the city of Trenton. So definitely, walking the beat, passing out information, letting them know, these are your resources. Here's what's available. Partnering with the county, because there's so many resources that we're not even aware of that the county has for us. I think that this is just paramount. And I think you're doing an amazing job. And whatever I can do to assist, just let me know. I'm here.
Thank you so very much, Councilwoman. Truly
Yes.
appreciate it. Just want to say this, that it's ironic you bring up the census. I recall 3 years ago when we were out there walking together and making sure that people were counted. And this was in the midst of COVID, when people were kind of weary about getting counted. And we had to remind people that in order to get the resources needed, in order to get hospitals built, schools open, to get more monies coming to the community, you have to be counted. And for some people, they wanted to make sure that Black and Brown communities were underrepresented, so they couldn't get the resources. And I think that we all came together, did a heck of a job of making sure that Trenton was counted. Even in the midst of a pandemic, people were coming out and doing that great work. And I do believe the partnerships that we formed will be everlasting for the benefit of the city of Trenton. So thank you once again.
Absolutely. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
And so with that said, I would like to move through our agenda. I would like to hand over the floor to one of our own. I would like to hand over the floor to our high-risk interventionist, Roberta Senator Martin, who has a few words of acknowledgement pertaining to the significance of this month. So with that said, Ms. Martin, the floor is yours.
Good morning and thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to be speaking today just a few timeline items on Women's History Month and the contribution that women have made to history. And this is just a small timeline because there's so many contributions. But Women's History Month is a celebration of women's contributions to history, culture, and society, and has been observed annually in the month of March in the United States since 1987. Neatly tucked inside that is International Women's Day, which is celebrated on March 8th. Both observations far often overlook the accomplishments of Black and Brown women, in particular, who have been achieving the unthinkable for centuries. In 1851, African American abolitionist Sojourner Truth spoke at a women's rights convention in Akron, Ohio, and during that time, she's proclaimed, "Ain't I a woman?" In 1839, Mississippi law passed giving white women very limited property rights, largely involving slavery. For the first time, they were allowed to own enslaved Africans just as white men. 1870, the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave the right to vote without regard to race, color, or previous condition of servitude, but the amendment did not apply to Black women or any other woman. Susan McKinney Stewart, an early physician, received an MD from the New York Medical College and Hospital for Women. That was also in 1970. In 1872, Charlotte Ray admitted to the Washington, D.C. bar. She graduated that year from Howard University Law School. Charlotte Ray became the first Black female attorney in the United States. She was active in the NAACP and the suffrage movement. The fun fact was that she applied to and was admitted to Howard University Law School under the name C.E. Ray in a possible attempt to hide her gender. In 1879, Mary Eliza Mahoney graduated from the nursing school at the New England Hospital for Women and Children, becoming the first Black professional nurse. Mahoney was the first African American to study and work as a professionally trained nurse in the United States. In 1879, Mahoney was also a graduate from the American School of Nursing. In 1881, Tennessee passed further Jim Crow laws. Black codes and Jim Crow laws were laws passed at different periods in the Southern United States to enforce racial segregation and curtail the power of Black people after 1865, when Civil War ended. Some states passed Black codes that severely limited the rights of Black people, many of whom had been enslaved. Those codes limited what jobs African Americans could hold and their ability to leave a job once hired. This particularly enabled or stopped Black men from voting, and U.S. law prevented women of any race from voting in federal elections until 1920. In 1881, Harriet Giles and Sophia Packard founded Spelman College, the first college for African American women. Mary Ann Shadd Cary was the first Black woman publisher and became the second Black woman in the United States to earn a law degree in 1883. In 1885, Sarah Good received the first U.S. patent awarded to a Black woman for her folding bed, which later became the modern day Murphy bed. Also in 85, Emma Grayson Merritt established the first U.S. kindergarten for Black students. Jane Marie Barrett founded the Locust Street Settlement House in Hampton, Virginia. In 1892, patents issued for an ironing board invented by Sarah Bloom. Many clubs were found through the 1800s up until in 1894, over 100 clubs were founded for race and women's progress. In 85, Ida B. Wells published Red Record, a statistical study of lynching. Harriet Tubman won pension in 1897 for her Civil War military service. While Tubman is most famous for her participation in the Underground Railroad, she should also be recognized for her work in the Union during the Civil War as a nurse, cook, and spy. In 1900, every state had given married women substantial control over their own property. In 1920, the 19th Amendment did not, however, guarantee any woman the right to vote. Instead, laws reserving the ballot for men became unconstitutional. Women would still have to navigate a maze of state laws based upon age, citizenship, residency, mental competency, and more that might keep them from the polls. The women who showed up to register to vote in the fall of 1920 confronted many hurdles. Racism was the most significant. The 15th Amendment expressly forbade states from denying the vote because of race, but by 1920, legislators in the South and West had set in place laws that had set the net effect of disenfranchising Black Americans. So unchecked intimidation and a threat of lynching sealed the deal that turned people away from voting, especially women. In 1896, Hattie Wyatt Caraway became the first woman to be elected to a full term in the United States Senate. In 57, Madeline Worthy Williams became the first Black woman elected to the New Jersey Assembly. In 1972, Winona Littman became the first Black woman to serve in the United States Senate. Carolyn Mosley Braun in 1993 entered the Senate in 1993 and was the first African-American woman in the Senate in 1993. In 2011, Sheila Oliver became the first woman of color and second woman to serve as Speaker of the New Jersey Assembly. She was the second Black woman in the nation to serve as a Speaker of a lower house. And I apologize. In 2008, T.H.E.S.I.S became the first Latina to serve in the New Jersey Senate. Bonnie Watson Coleman in 2015 became the first woman of color to represent New Jersey in Congress. 2016, Kamala Harris became the second Black or brown woman of color elected to the U.S. Senate. 2018, Sheila Oliver again made history and became the first woman of color to serve as New Jersey's lieutenant governor and the first woman of color to serve in a statewide office in New Jersey. In 2020, on November 7th, 2020, 4 days after election, Kamala Harris was made the first female vice president and first Black person to hold the vice presidency. 2022, Ketanji Brown Jackson joins U.S. Supreme Court as first Black woman on the bench. And in 2023, in a historic first 6 out of 7 elected positions are held by women in Trenton City Council, with that being Tesca Frisbee, Yasminelli Gonzalez, Crystal Feliciano, Jenna Kattenberg, Jennifer Williams, and Jazzy Edwards. So that was the history made in Trenton. And also just a few other timelines. Before 1978, a woman could be fired for being pregnant. Before 1974, women could not apply for credit. Before 1977, workers could not take action for sexual harassment. Before 1973, women could not serve on a jury. Before 1998, workers were not guaranteed maternity leave. And before 72, women could not run in the Boston Marathon. So this is just a timeline that was put together just to speak on some things for Women's History Month. And that was just a small fraction of the contributions that women have made to history. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, HRI, Cinnamon Martin. Really appreciate it. It's history, but at the same time, this is what goes on in our country right now. And to see and hear some of those timelines that are so close to today's time is just stunning. It truly is. The fact that you talk about credit, the fact that you talk about some of the other things that women didn't have access to. And it's amazing that we always talk about how things need to be equal. We got to be able to understand that for things to be equal, we have to acknowledge about the inequalities that took place first and foremost. If we just try to skip over that part, we're not doing it justice. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. So with that said, I'm going to move to concluding our meeting, but I wanted to say a few things before we do conclude. First and foremost, once again, if you have any questions pertaining to anything we spoke about, please make sure you put in the chat. In addition, please make sure you put your email in the chat as well. And all information we discussed today will be shared, flyers, what have you, with Mr. Ray Ingram, so we can put it out to the community. For our upcoming community walks and our upcoming pieces, I want to give some dates. On 3/21, we'll be doing a community walk in Prospect Village, March 21st. That'll be taking place from 3 to 4:30 p.m. If you're available and you want to walk with us, please come on out. We'll be doing a community walk on 323 on Stuyvesant Avenue as well. If you are available, please come on out. For our community walks, we've had several different organizations walking with us. We had our friends and partners, Volunteers of America, walk with us. We also had TCNJ walk with us. We also had Empowerment House. We also had the South Ford Neighborhood Community Association, and we had the South Ford Council walk with us as well. For T.H.E.S.I.S in the month of April, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be having our T.H.E.S.I.S on the 13th of April, and we will be doing it in person. We're going to want to be able to have the community to be able to see us and have engaging conversation with us in the room. We're going to still be mindful of the fact that some people may have some health issues. We'll take all immediate precautions, but we'll be doing T.H.E.S.I.S in person. The last thing I would like to do is to have us be prepared to do one thing, and that's to take a few minutes of silence. The reason why I'm asking for a minute of silence is for this particular reason. There was a young man who lost his life this past weekend on Friday of last week. The gentleman's name is T.H.E.S.I.S. The reason why I'm talking about T.H.E.S.I.S and why he's important is because he is Patterson. When I say he is Patterson, even though he lost his life, his memory still will live on and live throughout the city of Patterson. Najee was a part of the Patterson Healing Collective. That's basically the Patterson version of the Trenton Community Street Team. Najee was 31 years old. He was a high-risk interventionist. And what occurred, which are facts. I want to speak facts first. The facts are that Najee was having a mental health crisis on Friday evening. The facts are that mental health workers were dispatched to assist Najee. The facts were that the police was also dispatched as well. Najee was held up and barricaded in for about. Eventually, the police made their way in and had a conversation with Najee. But we do know that there was a knife on scene and that Najee was shot by the police. Once again, those are the facts. Another Black man's life was taken away, and unfortunately by the police. And there will be a rally today, and the rally is focusing on multiple things. One of the things that we're already aware of is there is an investigation that's being done by the AG's office. And what we ask for is what we always ask for, transparency. We want transparency. We need to know what happened. We need to know what failed. We need to know how we can prevent this from happening again. This is a person who signed on to try to reduce violence in the city of Patterson and wound up losing his life to violence. There's a rally taking place today at Patterson City Hall. The community is asking for not only justice, but a pathway forward. Some of the things they're demanding, not asking, because we got to stop asking for things. We have to demand things to happen in order for them to move forward. They're demanding a civilian complaint review board. That's that accountability again we're talking about. They're demanding a civilian crisis assistance team, which will focus and have social workers and interventionist specialists there on hand. They're demanding this. This is what needs to happen. Not only in Patterson, but in cities throughout America, especially cities in New Jersey. This isn't about just having diversity. This isn't about just having training. This isn't about having the best technology. This is about making sure change is effective. In Black and brown communities, too often there are Najis out there. There are situations when a person is having a mental health crisis who doesn't make it home. We will continue to push and strive for effective change, but we have to be a part of the process. Yes, we are a part of the public safety toolbox, but at the same time, in order to have effective change, you have to have a collaborative approach. That means mental health professionals. That means police. That means individuals like us as well. But in order for it to be a true collaboration, there has to be respect on all sides. On all sides. This needs to happen today. There should not be another Najee tomorrow or next week, but unfortunately, there will be. When it comes to police and public safety in our communities, we've always seen for a long period of time, serve and protect. There needs to be another word there before serve and protect. It needs to be respect, serve, and protect. When it comes to respect, you're able to show empathy. You're able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You're able to think before you act. That's important. That's the accountability sometimes we don't see in Black and brown communities. That's what we have to demand. That's what we cannot sit down for, that we have to push every single day. So with that said, I will ask for a moment of silence for Brother Najee and others throughout our country. Thank you all for tuning in for Thesis. Look forward to seeing you for our April in-person Thesis. Thank you.
Thank you.